think when we saw them previously or earlier in the day, they had some serious problems, and a lot of that came down to mainly individuals. Like they had setups which solely revolved around the likes of Zoking and Advent performing. Otherwise, they would lose initial duels, which is something that I wasn't too comfortable with. But we have seen a resurgence from both of those players. So I think obviously playing quite a few maps today already, this will be the fifth that they're going into. I don't think there's any excuses of players being warmed up or individually firing. Whereas for TYLOO now, well, we don't expect them to go into the lower bracket. At the same time, this is probably where they kind of consider, okay, guys, we got to start playing properly. Otherwise, we're going to have to go and eliminate Tiger.
Well, that's not going to be too big of a task for TYLOO based on what we saw in the past. But yeah, they definitely don't want to be going down to the lower bracket. I mean, for ViCi, this map should be theirs. 16-10 last time they played in Pro League. Before that, we saw them here in PAL, and it was 16-12. As you were saying, you know, this is scary. It's been a while since we've seen them lose it. Tom, I was basically coming into this under the surefire thought that ViCi would win Train. And then thinking about the other two maps, I imagine we would see a relatively close affair, considering the recent score lines for those maps were so close. But as always, Tom, I think I've figured out the problem. Dingo said that the first and third map were going to be easy for TYLOO, and as we've come to know, his predictions are generally awful. So this would be this would explain everything, really. If ViCi do lose to TYLOO, at Dingo TV on Twitter, you want to go ahead and you want to tell him that it's his fault. Just make sure you flood his inbox, as many DM requests as you can possibly get. If you got multiple accounts, go to those and just tell him that you're from TYLOO and that you hate him. That's all I request. But we do love him, really. At least to some extent. When he's not inhaling his microphone with a Hoover, or a vacuum, as some people will call it. I don't know what they call them in Asia. Do you call them Hoovers, Tom? In the UK, would you say a Hoover?
I was about to say, I was like, I'm not in Asia. How would I know? Yeah, Hoover, okay. Vacuum cleaner, either is fine.
We don't say vacuum.
There's the Henry Hoovers.
Well, exactly right. Yeah, of course. So I don't know. Blah, if you're here, let me know. Do you say Hoover? I don't know. So I feel like it's one of those things that people just will have no idea in different parts of the world to be like, what the hell? I think Americans don't call it Hoover, right? They just call it vacuum. They wouldn't know what a Hoover is. I've seen that nated a couple of times from Slowly. It's not getting them anything here. But for TYLOO, in the position now, their CT side, they've got to have a strong start, Tom. There's no secret about it. And they've got a 3-man stack towards the B site, which is fortunate, because this is where ViCi are pushing.
Well, Jam Young's already started strong. Slowly, though. He was great in the last map. He's got Danking to support him here. And while the P250 is not going to be enough to save Jam Young this time, the bomb's been dropped. The position from Kaze is meant to be used as a flank, but I guess at this stage it becomes the main point of attack, as Orman doesn't really have anything. He was the utility man, no Kevlar to be had. And Danking, he expects this push, an instant tap onto the head. And while it looks like we're going to get TYLOO winning the first pistol in this series,
that it does. They've gotten on the board in the early half at long last. Still though, Tom, plenty of work to be done.
This was quite a nice crossfire, actually, coming out of the connector.
Yeah, I was thinking Slowly hit a pretty insane
no, it wasn't.
Second shot. That would have been nuts. There's the molly. Somebody wanting to peek, but he gets a deep nade. Oh, here we go. Good damage. Kaze already lit up. Zoking's gone. And it's all about farming money with those two SMGs, right? That's what the aim of the game, really. With no armor there, nice and squishy.
See, the fact that my brain genuinely is sat here think, please don't go through the smoke. That's genuinely what I'm thinking in the situation, even though it would be the most irrational thing for anyone to do. Thankfully, somebody doesn't do it, and well, he gets away with a double. $1,200 farmed up for his side, and Danking, he's not going to go up that ladder now. waiting to see if anybody will push onto him. They're looking like they're going to boost, and while Jamyang will at least manage to get one with the Glock, but an instant trade from attacker. Not a huge loss, and Dan King may even be dropped an AWP here. Somebody has the funds to do it. He actually buys nades instantly, so that's not happening.
The investment from ViCi, and it's going to be pretty decent. They'll get their utility out. I want to see... Advent? Advent? Yeah, Advent? Okay, cool. He was too focused on calling. Dictating the strategy, I bet. But, you know, for ViCi, I'm curious to see what strat they go with. How they approach this round. You can see, again, it's going to be heavy presence towards Ivy. They know last time the nade came in nice and deep. This time... Oh my god, somebody... He's gotten a kill, and... He's got an Almond as well. I was going to say let him down to 10 HP, but he's gotten a second. This is a buy round. This is a full buy for ViCi. And somebody has just absolutely ruined them with an Ivy push so low on an MP9. That is a disaster.
And they can't even say it's surprising, because he did exactly the same thing in the last round. And
oh my
god. What?
They heard the bomb drop as well. They know it's here. They're hearing the steps coming back, so they're ready for Jamyang to swing. And he's looking for the kill onto somebody. He spotted him, but he has no idea about this T main push. He's back in T spawn. I've never seen that before. The bomb's gone down in T spawn, and Kaze's in a 1v5. What a joke of a round. My god, how have they lost 3 players to an MP9?
Kaze just like, oh, I've left the bomb and all my teammates' corpses in T spawn. This is ridiculous. I didn't expect this, because he had a relatively poor first map. The statistics might not necessarily say so, but he came into the game very, very late. This is a man looking like he wants some revenge. To make that sort of push with an MP9 is, well, very much a somebody play, but to get away with 3 kills off the back of it, well, that's ridiculous. And the CTs, well, they're surprisingly just going to set up camp on the bomb, leave Kaze to save his gun. It will mean that the economy going over the next few rounds is going to be relatively disjointed, even with the loss bonus coming up for him. Well, I guess if a teammate saves and potentially he gets a kill, that will be enough. But this, wow. The first one, absolute BS. The second one, also absolute BS. And then you got that as well.
That was absolute BS, Tom. Do you know that? That third one?
Yeah.
Ludicrous. An absolutely ludicrous round. And a fantastic start for TYLOO. Now picking up that 3-0. They've gotten it off the... I'm not even going to say off the back of the bonus round. Off the back of an MP9. A single MP9 won them that round. And we've now put ourselves in a spot where I think for ViCi, all that momentum, all that confidence from the previous map might be starting to go out the window. Certainly starting to dissipate a little bit.
Oh. Attacker and Summer almost making this look too easy. Okay, Kaze's AK has come up big. That's 3 kills. He's made enough money for the next round, but he might be able to win this one and, well, send their economy through the roof. Dan King, at least with the trade, and it's so instant. The trade kill. Going to retrieve an AK for himself, or maybe juggle that over to a teammate in exchange for an ult. And on the other side of things, well, Kaze could be dropped an AWP by Advent if he's willing to drop the head armor. If not, we might just see them go for the flat rifles.
Well, Tom, it's now or never, really. Well, not never, because they are T-side, but at the same time, ViCi, they're falling behind. I want to see them put up a good fight. Obviously, in the previous round, we had that AK play, but what else can they do? Now is the time to answer that. And with the pause coming through, they've had their time to really think about everything and come to a conclusion. You look at TYLOO, their money is building up. They're starting to get a little reservoir of cash. Now, the damage done in the previous round does chip away at that a little bit. But losing this one will put TYLOO up on a massive pedestal. after the previous map and how close it came. You know, TYLOO will be kicking themselves in a way, is what I'd normally say. You know, I'd normally say they'd be kicking themselves, but they're TYLOO, and they don't make sense. So I'd say they still feel like the better team. I'd say they still want to win this one, and that's sneaky play. I thought he was going to push all the way through. If he did, that could have been massive.
Nade over the top is going to catch Kaze. Now Danking. Really gonna, he's gonna reaggress. No nades, no flashbangs. Mitch has dropped something. And while Danking in return has been dropped himself. Very, very aggressive play. And I think the only real way that he wins that round for his team is if he catches a ridiculous timing of players just not looking in that direction. And I feel like ViCi are going to be so used to those attempted plays by TYLOO that it was never really going to catch anyone off guard. Somebody actually still manning the AWP. Thought it might be bought for a teammate, but instead he's going to be holding on to it himself. Oh, risky to try and get back around that corner, but he succeeds. However, Zoking doesn't let him live for long. Summer finally finding the first kill for TYLOO, and instead he's just going to walk right into the waiting arm. How is Jamyoung there? How is Jamyoung there without attacker knowing? Interesting.
I can imagine you stroking your chin as you say that. Interesting.
Probably more of a look of confusion on my face than anything.
Imagine you with a bookshelf behind you, a glass of whiskey.
Wearing a dressing gown. I think you're mixing me up with someone else.
I wasn't imagining you wearing anything, but spread eagle on the couch. Anywho, enough about our trip to Ukraine. So, TYLOO 4-1. They've lost the round. This is really what I wanted to see, to be honest, for ViCi to keep some form of confidence. I'm moving on through. Moving on up, moving on in. And Tom, I want to ask you something. Let's throw a question your way. See how you're feeling about this one. How many rounds you reckon ViCi are going to need T-side? So what's the magic number?
I want to say like 7. I think that they need quite a few. It seems like a lot for Train, but I think they had some real problems on their CT side. And although I do think that like Kaze will grab them a few, I just think the sheer manic pushes that will come through from TYLOO are going to be something they struggle with. At the same time, TYLOO don't often have a particularly good T side, so I think 7 should be enough. But anything more than that would be fantastic. They've got the opener once again. Again, there was enough money to still invest into this with the save from attacker. A bit of a whiff coming out from him, and somebody will trade, but it's only him and Danking remaining. Bomb has been dropped. That's the only positive we have for this round, and other than that, ViCi are looking good to take their second. Danking, though, has other ideas. If he hit that shot, I would have lost my mind, and the no-scope missed, but somebody's still going strong. He's run out of bullets in the clip and is forced to fall back and reposition. Especially with Kaze homed in. Actually could be able to get past. That's a free kill. A third for him in the round already. And now hunting down that AWP. He knows what's on the other side. He knows that there's a man he can't afford to give an inch. At the same time, someone else that you have to be very careful when playing against the peek out from Kaze. It's a big risk, and he's heard the dink connected. Flashbang through, and Kaze hits the shot. Just 5 HP remaining, but that's enough for ViCi to gain another round. And while the economy becomes quite awkward for TYLOO, but they instantly buy? They didn't even hesitate for a second. They just bought up. Oh, get out.
I didn't even see that. What was that shot? Yeah, the buy-up is a curious one. I guess a lot of the players had time to think about this while they were in that 1v1. And they're making the call straight away. I cannot, for a second, say I agree with it. Based on how the last 2 rounds have gone, yes, they've been relatively close, but do you really think that with an SMG, a Deagle, and a Scout, you're going to be... Well, I suppose for somebody, who cares he's got an SMG? This guy got a 3k in the second round.
He's had
The
more
third round.
kills with MP9 than he has with any other gun.
There you go. So give the man an MP9, even if you got 10k. But for the other guys, a Deagle, a Scout, it's not ideal. It definitely puts you at a disadvantage, and you're risking going 4-4, equalizing with a T side, which is never good at this stage of the game, to give them that much leeway, that much leash. But slowly, well, he's coming in, he's tightening the reins. Jam Young able to find that opening, a deep molly, and it doesn't even matter because the kills just come through. Jam Young continues to aggress. Zoking catches attacker completely unaware. Summer left on 20 HP, just about bails, and they are going to be saving an M4 and an MP9. Not the best weapons to be carrying through to the next round to build the foundations of what will be an eco around them. And Tom, very quickly we see the spoils of war are nowhere to be found for TYLOO.
Yeah, for a team with some of the best and craziest Eagle plays you'll ever see in Counter-Strike, they really do seem to make interesting choices when it comes to their economy. Like, they could have easily just dropped the Deagle to every player, gone for a bit of a weaker buy, and then come back in even with an AWP for danking in the next round, which has been one of the better things we've seen so far from them. Instead, they've wrecked their own economy. Didn't really do much damage to ViCi's, so they've built up cash instead. And, well, they've got a rifle, an SMG, and what will probably be a Deagle or two to play with in this round. Not a fan.
Oh, my mic was muted. I'm so sorry, Tom. I was trying to, I knocked over some things and I was picking them up and sorting them out, and then I forgot to unmute my mic. I was just making the point for the viewers out there that, you know, we will constantly say about TYLOO that they make the wrong decisions. You know, they make some crazy decisions, and it's funny because even though you'll have coaches, analysts, us, mathematics, statistics, everything saying that TYLOO, well, that what they do is wrong, if it works and they continue to be the best team in Asia, I guess it's right. And in a way, it's like, you know, if you got Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi to play versus me and you, Tom, they could play the worst football in the world, and they'd be better than us playing perfect football. I don't know what that means. I don't watch football, but
that was a bit
you know
of a
what I mean?
weird analogy, I'll be honest.
I don't know anything about football. I just
they are more athletic than us, so sure.
If they play football doing handstands, they would still be better than us playing football normally.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's like what they're doing is wrong, but they're still better.
Sure. I would personally stick to analogies of things that you actually pay attention to, but
Nah, that's no fun.
Well, 2 players currently sat on this B site. Somebody looking to try and get aggressive around Ivy. He might be able to catch the lurker, but it won't stop this take. That comes down to Slowly, who's watching that upper position. Nice spray down, but he actually leaves danking out to dry. It doesn't matter too much in the grand scale of things. He's managed to keep himself alive, and Kaze has grabbed the bomb and plans to switch this lurk into the actual play. Comes down to the duel of Orman facing off against somebody, and while the problem is he doesn't actually know somebody's here, he times the peek well, but unfortunately it doesn't matter. Nice shot from Kaze. I don't know how he headshotted him there, but he did. And now left into the 1v2, this man has another chance to strut his stuff within the server, making it way back around. A nice hop to retreat. And there's a peek coming out from Summer, at least an attempted one. Maybe just checking if he's around the close train. Instead, Kaze sat back, and he's going to have to take a peek. He can't just wait patiently. He's taken a big risk of not actually facing this. This time it's for real, and he's denied it, at least for the moment. Pulls it back into a passive position, goes for the re-peek off his flash, and Kaze makes that look so damn easy. 5-4 in favor of ViCi. TYLOO's economy in the dirt once again, and the lead converted by the T's.
Well, Tom, ViCi, I've earned this for sure, and TYLOO's decision-making, their risks have not paid off. They rolled the dice and they came up snake eyes, and we all know what that means. I think it's bad. I'm pretty sure. Tom, you're a big craps player.
Yeah, I like the ones with the pincers.
Excuse me? I think they're crabs, Tom.
Oh, my mistake.
Sorry, Tom's into crab fights. He orchestrates them in his basement with a bunch of Ukrainian men.
The first rule of crab fighting is never talk about crab
You may think
fighting.
I mean animal cruelty. No, that's not what we're talking about. Tom paints his hands red.
Oh god, this got weird.
I'm just imagining you and some big bulky Ukrainian men walking funny in your basement, snapping at each other.
Oh dear, oh dear.
I'm gonna dream
It's
of that
happening
tonight.
again. It's happening again. The Deagle buy. See, why didn't they do this earlier? Why did they force? What was the point? They're just gonna win with the pistols instead, unless Kaze saves them once more. This man dragged them out of a round already. It's unfair to ask it of him once again, but he's giving it a damn good try already. 2 kills picked up. The bomb retrieved for Jam Young as well. It might not be the end just yet, but with the rifles retrieved, it's become a much tougher task than it was initially. Slowly also looking to slightly aggress further into A main to get that additional info, with Summer starting to rotate into the B site. Kaze is going to have to hit a pretty nifty flick. Gonna get it as well. The headshot even converted to give them an equal scenario once again. It's been a phenomenal performance from him, and they're going to start lurking their way out of this A site. They've managed to almost completely avoid the remaining 2 defenders. Molotov being expended, and Kaze looking to put the full ViCi roster in his Dora the Explorer backpack. Question is, are they going to get caught by Attacker, who's looking to try and lurk his way through the edge of the smoke? He's going to hear the bomb being planted. Free kill for 1. Kaze's behind. He misses the shot against the no-scope. That should not have worked. And Kaze with an ace to drag them through a second round kicking and screaming. This man is named as the best AWPer within the region, and you've just seen why.
Absolutely unbelievable scenes. Kaze, they had no right to win that on the TYLOO side, but we knew what they were capable of when they pulled out Deagles. But then Kaze equally had no right to do what he did.
God.
It was nasty, but in another way, it was beautiful. 6-4, ViCi not only leading on the T side, but after TYLOO winning their first pistol round of the series, they fall behind by 2. Summer in with the opening in this buy round. A double op setup, gracing our screens on Dan King and somebody. Now remember, most of the rounds that ViCi have picked up have been very weak. Oh my god, shoot Kaze, do it. Oh, that would have been amazing. But obviously he's just holding for somebody pushing into him, not lining up some sort of 700 IQ wall bang for the middle of A site, or for the middle of nowhere, really, towards the A site. For TYLOO, though, the position that they're currently in is... It's tough, but they do have that fallback that on the buy rounds, ones like this, where they've got utility and ops, they haven't really been tested. And I think that that's something to smile about, but at the same time, Tom, they've got to be pretty flawless from this point forward. You said 7 rounds was where you wanted to see ViCi by the end of this half. Well, there's a very real possibility they make it a whole lot further than that.
It's looking good. They've tried to take a leaf out of the TYLOO strat book, which involves running straight through a Molotov. It gets Jam Young a kill, but also means that he meets his maker a little bit earlier than expected. Still a 3-on-3 ensues as Orman manages to catch some re-aggression elsewhere. Kaze, it's another shot connected. At the moment, this man just can't miss, it seems. Attacker also tagged low, but the trade comes back in. Kaze, that's another kill from him, up to 14. He spots the man above, but finally there's a miss. It was a long time coming. And it leaves Orman alone. Danking picking off a good position, and he's going to shut this round down. A fifth converted. And well, just look at the money on ViCi. 6, 5, 3, 4, and of course Kaze on 13,000. He's going to be able to bail them out of it a little bit here. If this isn't going towards Kaze, I don't want to see where it's going.
No, it is. It has to be. And Kaze coming in as the utility file as well. 27 grenades used up so far. So not only is he leading the charge when it comes to dealing damage, but also in support element as well, with his smokes and 14 flashes consumed. Fair play, Kaze. Be like Kaze. Oh! I mean, that was a hard flick to hit. Somebody,
no.
He's going huge. He's picked up a double opening. And for now, TYLOO, well, they're leading by quite a bit. They're winning every aim duel. Zoking tries to pull it back, but he's only good for one. And in the end, Attacker... Okay.
What are you doing?
That was confusing me, the kill feed for Attacker. I thought he'd killed him with a decoy or a flash, but... He killed him while the guy was flashed, and he killed him with a molly. It was it was an odd. I haven't seen that combination before.
A wombo combo. Oh, small chance for Jamyoung. I have a feeling he's about to walk into the AWP, and yeah, a bit disappointing, if anything. But 6-6. TYLOO stepping up when it matters. Somebody having a big round. And, well, I mentioned in the last map, it was him and Danking that were the underperformers. That was a 6 shot onto Kaze. That was the setup as well. So he avoids the player jumping through the air. And that's the thing. It's almost obvious. Obviously, you've got to aim for the person who peaks in second. It's also nigh on impossible to train yourself to do that, where it's like, there's a guy flying through the air. Let's ignore him and go for the guy who's standing still and trying to kill me. Like, you want to try and hit that flick, but somebody, he's wired differently. I think that's the kindest way I can put it. We have the T's, unfortunately, only on some pistols. And the chance for TYLOO to potentially get themselves back up to 9 rounds, which, well, considering how some of these have gone, I would be a little bit disappointed for ViCi if that's the case.
Oh, well, that's not a good start. The Deagles in play obviously do limit your ability. They've decided to shift focus towards A, but it's not really an advantage. Because TYLOO didn't lose any ground or players, they've still got a full stack up here of 2 players with a quick rotate through connector, and it will be very easily picked up. Kaze eventually in with 1. He's not going to get much more, though, surely. Dancing around the back of E-Box, and indeed, he falls in the end. TYLOO, 7 on the board. They've at least reclaimed the lead after what was a very flat performance to bring it 6-4. They're right back up there 7-6. Now, ViCi, as you said, you don't want to see them give TYLOO 9, even though it will be decent. We want to see ViCi pull into a position where, they get some reward for the early 6 rounds that they got up there. And this is their chance. Actually, I think they're not going to full buy here. Zoking bought up too much. Alman and Advent as well don't have a whole lot of cash. I think this is pistols and utility, and then play for the final round.
That's ridiculous. They've only won 1 more round.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more than double. Yeah, more than double the amount of HP when they survive. So that basically means that they've had multiple players, or at least an extra player each time they win. That's insane. It has been a lot of close clutches. Obviously, a lot of that coming down to Kaze. 15-7. Advent and Orman with just 7 kills between them. And they are going to invest into this round, Mitch. It's not a pretty buy And considering we were looking at them in a position where they basically could have got themselves a fair few rounds. They won 6 in a row. This was 6-4. Since then, they've been struggling, but they've managed to catch off the aggression of somebody. It was bound to happen eventually. The amount of times this man had decided it was a good idea to try and push onto Ivy. Danking. Oh, that was very close to being the timing shot. Now there's bullets coming back in the other direction. Look at the aggression of the CT side, though. They've gone all the way out. Attacker's still here. Got to turn around, and, well, that's one of the easiest kills of his career. This is very confusing, and in fact, it's been left all onto slowly. He's dead for sure. There's still a man to come down the ramp, a final remaining player to put the pressure onto him. It's looking like the scoreline's going to be equalized once again, and I don't think the CTs are going to go for this, and for that reason, Ormond's position could be very valuable for the team. Or
I don't even...
Oh, they are going for...
Why? Oh, man, look at the HP! This could so easily be around for TYLOO. But just a fraction of HP between them and that goal being achieved. That is tough. Tough pill to swallow for sure. Attacker... I'm just glancing at their money. I mean, they really did need to save both weapons. Why is he still fighting? Why did he run out with his knife out? What the hell was that? What am I watching? You can't even give me the excuse, well, you see, he wanted to get the AK to upgrade. There was an AK in upper, and the bomb blew up, which would push the AK towards him, and it's easier to go to upper.
What? Just runs out. Oh, somebody's insane.
I don't know, Tom. I don't know. What's going through this man's head right now? I feel like if I could read their minds, right? If I was one of those people that lie about, that can read people's minds, I think it's like in a movie, you know, when someone, oh, what movie did it happen in? Someone like downloads all the knowledge in the universe. Oh, it's like Doctor Who, for example, or the Infinity Stones, the Avengers. It's like the power is too great, so I'd go, okay, I'm gonna read Attacker's mind.
So
see what's going on.
You know that Indiana Jones film, that nobody liked, like the last one, that one.
The Crystal Skull.
Yeah, she gets given all the knowledge and then like melts.
Ah, yeah, exactly. That's what would happen. If you could read the mind of Attacker, you would just melt completely. Like you would go, oh, I see. So when he pushed through the smog, and you just die. You just turn into a puddle. That's it.
Oh, here we go. Somebody with the AWP in hand is going to open things up with an early pick. A man has crossed. There's going to be some damage now being done. Ormond just confused as what's happening, has been, well, melted by Attacker, you could say. He's now going to try and sneak through the smoke. Somebody's picked off another. Goes pick once again. It's left on Takaze, and this time even he can't clutch it out. Well, they get the 7. It might not necessarily be in the manner that was expected, and after being 6-4 up, you kind of feel like ViCi probably should have done a little bit more. But they've got the minimum I think they will have needed. Now going on to the CT side, they've pretty much got to prove why they are the team we expect to win this train map. There's not many maps where we would predict them to win, but this is definitely one of them. The last time they played, they actually managed 9 rounds on their T side. So they've done slightly worse in that manner. The time before that, they managed 11 rounds on their CT side. So they have proven that they can do it. And obviously the reason they didn't get as many rounds because they started T side last time. Here we go. Attacker. Already going to be kicking things off. It's trade back and forth with Dan King eventually giving them the advantage. In fact, he's running and gunning, but it's left on to Jam Young. He could win this, but unfortunately he runs out of ammo. TYLOO take the second pistol. So that's now them with both pistols as well on their opponent map choice. So no team so far has won a pistol. Well, actually, I can just say no team has won a pistol on their map choice, because that is it from this point onwards.
I love how as well one of the points you made, Tom, towards the start of this was how TYLOO on their T side, they'd make all these crazy pushes and stuff, and then you watch their CT, and I think they pushed more on the CT than they will on the T side. It was ludicrous. I mean, I guess we got the tone set for us from the very beginning, right?
I think that the perfect analogy for TYLOO is the one that the Joker makes, which is like, if you tell someone you're going to do something, then they don't really get scared about it. But if you say like you're going to destroy something, then everybody loses their minds. I think that's what TYLOO are, because you never know what they're going to do. And that's what makes them scary. Like, if you knew they'd make aggressive pushes and you couldn't stop it, that would be kind of annoying. But the fact is, they make so many plays that make absolutely no sense that you have to be on edge all the time. So they are the Joker. That's it. TYLOO are the Joker.
From the Batman, is that in the Batman games? No.
Oh no,
that was in the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Yeah. That was
the legendary Joker, which kind of fits again with TYLOO, because they are the undisputed champion.
Yeah, somehow, some way. Instead of pencils, they make opposition disappear. And it really is a magic trick, because I don't think anyone can explain it.
I don't know. I think Dinko could make a pencil disappear.
I thought... I thought of a really good show that doesn't include Dinko performing the acts like that. And it was, we get Halka on, right? And once a week, we pick a round and we just make him in-depth analyze that round. And no, this is what it was. That was the first thought. Then I thought, no,
he would end up, his YouTube channel would end up as one of those like crazy conspiracy channels where it's like,
the lizard
it's
people.
In the water.
So basically what we would do is we would start a round, right? And we would pause it and go, okay, Halka, what are they doing here? And you'd be like, well, you see, what they're doing now is they're setting up for a B take. Okay, cool. Hit play. Then they do something completely random. Pause it.
Well, like
okay, what are they doing now?
Play. That Molotov, but they just ran through the Molotov on Mirage.
Yeah. That's like, so now they're stopped by the Molotov. Play. Pause. Like, well, they've ran through the Molotov. Well, why have they done that, Halka? I don't know.
Why they just starts crying.
It just clips back to the... Halka, you there? Halka just comes up his camera. Just Kleenex everywhere.
I don't know what to
Kleenex
do.
everywhere in Dinko's one as well, but he wouldn't be crying. Anyways, 10-7. For ViCi. We're in a position where they've obviously gone in for heavy investment. They've got that scout to back them up, and we want to see them really answer the call on this one. TYLOO are starting to run away with this. They're 3 rounds in the lead, but that's just early half. You can let that slip and slide, but on the T side, you want to make sure that they get punished. And Zoking, he's come in with the opening, but still that scout is there. It's lingering in the back of my mind. It's a disadvantage that they have to work with, and here they go. Every kill's gone their way. It's almost flawless, and in the end, it essentially is. Is Kaze nearby? No, he's not going to get a weapon. Unlucky. He's going to keep the scout. But still, fantastic round for ViCi. I mean, that was almost flawless.
But the thing that's so surprising as well is ViCi are not really a team where I talk about like them going for a lot of early buys. Like a lot of the time they play things relatively safe, make sure that they get like the AWP onto Kaze, but they went for something a little bit different this time, and hey, it worked out for them. Also, we saw a lot of setups that involved them being fairly aggressive. This round was, I almost feel like it was tailor-made for TYLOO, where they just sat very far back, even though they're the team with less utility. They just waited passively for players to push into their crosshairs because, well, what are TYLOO least known for? Full-on execution. So they almost made that one look too easy. And I do wonder if the reason they're so good at this map versus TYLOO in particular is because that's who they prepare for. And while 10-8, the utility is even more minimal in this round. You've got 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs, and a single Molotov for TYLOO. Be interested to see how that is utilized, if it's utilized at all. By the looks of it, the bomb's heading in towards Ivy. And slowly, is just going to sneak his way through. It seems like they're going to end up with a B hit, but it's curious as to why the bomb initially went in the other direction. Now, it's been spotted by Kaze. The scout tag hit. The bomb, remember, is very, very far behind. So, as a play, this is a questionable one, to say the least. Jamyoung's already going to get the opener. The bomb's still not making its way towards the site. It will get there eventually, and in fact, they've decided to give this up. If this was all a fake, that seems madness, but they have managed to get slowly into a position that I don't think can really be expected, and Danking has found another entry.
I don't think it was intended. I think this is making the best of a bad situation, and they seem to be salvaging it for sure with the damage already done to Kaze when he re-extended out of connector. The HP's about even. Slowly, not quite one hit to the scout, but they swap it out for Nog. Looking in for this retake. T's tucked away, giving nothing, and slowly just swings on through, leaving Jamyoung to do it all. He's being tagged down to 16 HP, and he doesn't feel like the ace clutch will be his. This was one of the rounds I'd like to have Hawk a look at. But not quite as bad as it could. Oh, no, they're hunting him down. Jamyoung is so low. He swings wide, and down he goes in the end. 11-8, no weapon saved for ViCi, and their economy, well, it is not great. I do feel like they'll force buy this time, but I don't want them to. They'll have 2 weaker weapons to work with, and by weaker, I mean you're talking like a Deagle. Maybe they can give a scout to Kaze? Get an M4 dropped? They're calling attack pause. There's a possibility they're considering it.
They should save here, 100%.
They should, 100%.
There's like, they'll get full rifles for the team and AWP for Kaze. They could invest into a Deagle or two in this round if they really want to, but ultimately, there's no reason to force this round. Like, you're not out of this map just yet. You're on the CT side. I don't want to see it happen. And I think ViCi are normally fairly level-headed in the way that they make decisions about their economy. It would now be almost comedic if they decided to buy, but that is the way of the world sometimes.
I see a Deagle bought up, so that restores faith for me. I do get fearful. We've already seen one quite aggressive buy by ViCi, although this would definitely have been a bridge too far. I see. We learned about that the other day. We know where it comes from. Yeah, I'm glad they've decided not to invest. Now, with the few Deagles they've got in play, hope's quite low for them to get anything done. And maybe a few kills.
Wow, this is clinical as it gets. Not a player dropped. TYLOO are going to boost their economy and take themselves further through in this map. Blair's starting to slowly take off the ViCi jersey he had on at the beginning of this map. Switch it out for the TYLOO one, ready for his celebration.
Well, no, he doesn't want to have either going on into the next map because he doesn't know which way it'll go.
I'll be honest. I think if ViCi
new.
lose this one, it's the third map of TYLOO. Like, I'm not going to be the one to bet against it. Zoking though starts this round off strong. Somebody tries to make the run through the Molotov down the ladder and into the A site on his own. You know, the classic strat. Doesn't work. Surprisingly, an Advent. Oh, this is sneaky. Free kill for him. Oh, he crosses back over. That's bold. They're going to put another player into the same spot. Attacker now needs to make a relatively big play to try and drag them back into this one. Maybe not. Danking is the one to actually start things off. Player spotted as well. Ormond falls. A 5-on-3 quickly turns into a 3-on-3 situation. They're waiting for Zoking, but he wins the duel. Now, surviving this is going to be tough. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try and hunt him down, but they're wary of other players, and it's actually going to be a complete reposition from Zoking. This gives quite a bit of space, and they seem so ready for every angle that ViCi are holding, every spot they try and peek from. There's somebody watching. Jamyoung, he manages to finally win a duel to make this a 1 versus 3. But Attacker has been incredible. He is 21-10. I don't think it's arguable that he's been the best player in this tournament for TYLOO, but even he can't bring it back this time.
Well, Tom, where are you at on the fence? Which side are you on? You with TYLOO taking this map? Or are you going to betray your prediction?
Never betray my prediction. Not once.
Fair enough. I don't know how accurate that is, Tom, I'll be honest, but... we'll see if it ends up being right. The prediction, that is, not the lie you've told. 12-9. 3 rounds between them. Full buy for both teams. ViCi in with a single up on Kaze, who's been looking for some sort of... oh no. Some sort of a pick, but it's Soaking that gets dropped. I mean, they've lost Pop Dog control. It's a big worry for them, really, in holding down Alman. Really solid work taken out slowly. With that and Kaze's pick, they're back on top. They're back in comfort zone. I was going between town and zone, but I went for both. Comfort zone. And it's time to get down with the comfort. Because TYLOO, well, they're going to move into B, and there's already been that rotate in play for Alman. He was here to support, but he leaves at just the wrong time. Is he? Oh, he's going to be here. Perfect.
Oh, this is slaughter. Somebody the only one left, and he can't even make it close. ViCi are going to put themselves up. Off to 10. Well, the T side actually don't have too much money going into this one. Nice to see some of the sort of quieter players stepping up a little bit. Orman's definitely been one of them. Jam Young's still going strong, and well, if there was any way that this would come back, it would be off of that 3-man of Kaze, Jam Young, and Orman, who had some pretty good matches earlier. Abvent falling off a bit from what was a great performance on Mirage, and Zoking, he's playing better than he did earlier on Train, that's for sure. 38 ADR. Oh, damn, that's rough.
At least it's not, what was it, 12 that we'd seen before? It's better than nothing. Quite literally. Well, the Deagle's coming down towards B. Dan King is looking to go for that head peek angle, and Jam Young wisely creating as much space as he can. A bomb's going to go down, though. It's made it to sight. They haven't been able to stop it crossing. The molly goes through a little bit late. Jam Young unaware there's a CZ down below, and Summer from afar takes the kill. A 4v3, a weapon to be retrieved potentially for TYLOO if they can get up to it. Although they seem content to just take these fights with pistols in hand. Eventually somebody gets a little too far forward, and the Golden Man himself takes the kill as the nade comes in for Advent, and finalement 12-11. TYLOO, well, they've got to be stressing a little bit. I mean, losing to ViCi is one thing. Losing 2-0 though, Tom? Whew. This is the buy round to stay on top.
Starting to hit some pretty tasty shots as well. Like, they've got all the pieces of the puzzle, that's for sure. Just whether or not they can all be put together, or if their mean big brother's going to come through and destroy it before they get the chance. This is where TYLOO have themselves a purchase on the board again. They've had some pretty big individual plays themselves. As said, attackers had a pretty damn good series, and we've seen some decent rounds from Dan King as well. They're trying to check if there is anybody in towards Pop. They have some utility to expend, which is going to make things a little bit more awkward for Zoking. He goes back in for more. That's such a risk, and, well, the reward is a chest full of lead. Leaves his team a man down. And Kaze desperately hoping that someone's going to hand him the trade, but it's not happening this time.
Well, Kaze's going to look for some trades elsewhere while we're with our man. He's like the opposite of the commentator. Golden boy. He's the daddy. He's golden man. And look, Jam Young makes it back down. Molly down in play. Almond's covering the push out, but they've gone through the Molotov. Of course they have. They've even died to it as well. Almond's able to find one, looks towards the back of Gray, but they've walked all the way back around. Oh, he still hit the shot, but Summer left on 22 health. A 2 versus 2. A winnable retake for ViCi. They're going to go for this for sure, but they need to deal with slowly. The full HP player pushing up close. The op forced off the angle, but the shot connects. And with Summer being so low, all it took was a swift breeze from Advent as he sneezes in his general direction. 12-12. And ViCi, well, they might just have taken the lead, Tom, because even the bomb plant, the money isn't great for TYLOO.
Blair slowly putting that ViCi jersey back on. After he's eaten his lunch, it feels a little bit snugger than before.
It's okay, Blake. You don't have to wear anything. We'll be all right. Standing segment next, but don't touch that camera.
Well, 12-12. If we've learned anything from TYLOO, that until you've won the game, and it definitely isn't over. They were 15-10 down in the last map, managed to get it to overtime before eventually losing it slowly. Has just ruined Kaze in the early stages of this round. Zoking as well is going to be forced off the angle again. Starting to see TYLOO actually maneuver some of these players around a little bit. It's not something we see too often from them, using utility to the best of their advantage. It's more just these aggressive solo plays. These are now going to look to try and reclaim main and hold on to Pop Dog. There's no real control at the moment for the CT side. In fact, they're going to gamble a second player over into the B site after initially handing it up because they thought this was going to be a faster, explosive play. Instead, Orman's now the only one remaining. He's running into the open. This man has some of the weirdest decision-making I've ever seen. And again, he's just going to give up a frag. I'm not sure. Like, if you have a rifle, you get caught moving, I can forgive you a bit. The man has an AWP. What angle was he planning on taking there? It looked like he was lining up a smoke in the open.
He might have been. I'm not 100% sure what he was doing, to be honest. I don't know what's going on sometimes. It is truly, completely and utterly confusing. But looking in towards the scoreline now, as it sits, as it is, it ain't good. It ain't fantastic.
Oh, thanks for that.
It ain't bad, though. It's a combination.
Mediocre.
It's between the two. It's in purgatory. And the difference between going to heaven and going to hell for ViCi is not this round, because they've got a little bit of extra money. But this could be, in all seriousness, this could be able to push this TYLOO completely across the line. If they manage to win this one, ViCi in a decent spot to buy out in the next, but 14-12, then they're facing into 2 back-to-back full buys just to get it equalized. That's pretty tough.
Look how much utility the CT side have just used. That's almost every single incendiary they have just to try and quell what they thought was an aggressive A push. The fact is it isn't. The T's are looking to set themselves up to go through the smoke on ramp. Jam Young, he's in position though. He sprays down one with the support of Orman, manages to get back around the corner, and that's a second for him combining with his teammate. Dan King now the only one left, and he falls on the site. All on Summer. 1v4. They tried something audacious. He's just been chunked down by a nade. In fact, there's a second smoke being thrown in just onto his feet. His position given up, and no real chance of winning this round. The T's have enough. They'll be able to buy in the next round anyway. He's got to try and make this costly at least.
I mean, with 35 seconds left, he's surely not going to save this weapon, Tom. They will get enough money in the next round to buy up. I think he is going to save the weapon, Tom. I did not anticipate this, I have to say. Quite a surprise. He's got armor, he's got an AK.
Doesn't look very happy about it.
No, he doesn't. It's like, that's his face from them losing the previous map, though, I reckon. Dan King's looking jolly, which is odd.
Counter-terrorists win.
But who knows? After this game, he might be swinging that expression upside down, turning into a bit of a sad face if they end up losing to ViCi.
Jam Young. Good round from him. I think that TYLOO took a little bit too long. They baited out the play with the fake smokes, but ultimately it just didn't work. Like, the CT side had enough time to re-rotate their players back around. They used a lot of utility to make sure they quelled any sort of early aggression. They're doing the same again. They don't want to allow TYLOO to go for any of these fast, aggressive burst plays. And this is definitely going to be one of the closest maps of Train we've seen from these two teams. Normally it is slightly more in favor of ViCi, but I imagine after winning the first map, the nerves are high, the pressure's getting to them, a chance to get straight through into the grand final. Bear in mind, ViCi haven't made it to a grand final in the RMR event so far. It sounds weird to say, but Invictus, who are already out, and of course Tiger, who are waiting in that lower bracket match to decide who faces whoever wins this in the grand final. And obviously TYLOO. Question is, can ViCi make it there for a first time and, well, put the pressure on TYLOO to fight back and get back, or is the fight back going to start a little bit earlier for TYLOO? The scoreline equalized. A late smoke put down by Zoking as well. This is going to make things quite awkward for the T side. He's going to try and get aggressive alongside it, although this is pretty much the expected play, I would say. Although I say that, they don't actually check it. They've left the bomb. That's the bomb behind on Dan King. Zoking's going to try and wrap around the corner, but he can't quite stop them here. Good position from Advent. Will be able to drop one. 10 seconds left as the bomb starts to be planted, slowly trying to hold the line, and that's exactly what he'll do. And all the aggression coming in from ViCi is not going to work. It was looking like it's their round, and maybe it will be. Dan King giving this a damn good try. I think he may have just spotted the man around the connector, maybe not. Summer's going to push out of the Molotov and scrape it through for TYLOO. 14-13. CT side money will just about get them a buy into this round. Dear Lord, is this close.
Yeah, that was incredibly close. I mean, you look into the position for TYLOO, they looked like they were going to just get completely smacked out of that round, especially with the bomb going down 19 seconds on the clock. I was anything but a believer. They've managed to pull it off just about and keep themselves alive. Now ViCi want to take it. What? Okay, that was Zoking, not who we were watching. That caught me off for a second. What element? Well, yeah, he's been wrecked. He's just caught in the open. Good flash. Shuts him down. Zoking going out for a third. He is wrecking face. Kaze in with another. Attacker's all that remains. He's jumped. They know where he is. They'd already seen him or heard him shoot. Now that he's jumped towards the back of the bomb site, they're going to peek him one at a time. That's what they're going to do. Good play. Well, let's see what Kaze is going to be up to. This is not a great crossfire. It's not a crossfire. Not at all. They've given the opportunities for 1 versus 1s. And again, that's another situation where I think the cattle prod needs to come out. A little bit of a zzz, don't peek that. This time it's for ViCi, though, not for TYLOO. Who at this point I think would have died from electrocution if we employed that strategy.
Yeah, maybe just get it built into the chip. Like, have you, you know, the Omen events that sometimes happen at like Gamescom, where they have the chairs that like have different things in them to try and throw you off. It's just one of those. Like, if they go to push, like, you can sort of gas canisters go like, just to like stop them from doing it. So, you know, I'm sure Omen will be happy to get involved in that sort of thing. It's a cool event.
Absolutely.
It's a cool event, I have to say. One that I've visited a few times at different events, but this is wow. This is a good opportunity for ViCi, but this is also the perfect time for a TYLOO round. So I'm not going to be holding my breath. A chance for them to get themselves to map and series point, and a chance for TYLOO to, well, show them why they're still Big Daddy.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Oh, Advent. There we go. That's how we do it. He's reloading the UMP, which is going to lead to his death, but it's not a great weapon to be retrieved. The AK from afar, though, does manage to take Zoking down. Good start. Some are surprisingly keeping the AK despite being literally 1 HP. And somebody's gone. That's the other AK disappearing. Slowly now. Oh, he's got a good angle. I feel like Kaze saw him, though. He seems to be very cautious of this angle. Overly so. Maybe not. As he comes around, the Deagle spotted him. Good shot. Now going to swing for a little bit more, perhaps. Summer, he went on a flank all the way around through T-spawn. Not sure why. He's coming out very late. 5-second defuse. The spam's not great. It's so close. It gets him. It got him in the end. It's no time. They've won it. TYLOO. Oh my word. How have they gotten away with that?
Not surprised. I'm very disappointed. And
That's
it was in that
insane.
moment that Blair's heart shattered into 1,000,000 pieces.
One bullet, and it was actually through his teammate that manages to get them. That is absolute madness.
No, now it comes down to Kaze's AWP and well, a bunch of rubbish, to be honest. SMG, a couple of pistols, and the trusty scout for Orman. They can win this round. They take it to overtime, and at least then they have a chance to reset things. It would be a back-to-back map in overtime, but TYLOO looking to try and close this in regulation. It would be heartbreak for ViCi. They've looked very good in this map, but at the final hurdle, it seems like they've slipped up. Orman trying to throw out some counter-utility to hold them back. Jam Young yet to be checked, sat in the corner. This is a position they have to check eventually, and somebody will do it as the last man through. It's all falling apart. Somebody in slowly are going to be closing this one out. Kaze in a 1v5 situation. Map 3 is on the cards unless this man can pull off an incredible clutch. He managed an ace earlier. He's on 27 kills. Definitely been one of the top performers within this map, it's without a doubt, but this is an impossibility. This is not something he can pull off. An attacker will put him down. It's a third and final map coming up as TYLOO managed to steal away train. And while the real question is, Mitch, now to you, do you still believe in ViCi? You're such a snake.
Oh my god.
I don't know what are you talking about. What are you talking about, guys? TYLOO, obviously TYLOO's going to win map number 2, and then they're going to take map number 3. Y'all fell for that.